As Autism Awareness Month wraps up, understanding the medical side of autism can help families recognize early signs and better support loved ones. KGTX 7 takes a closer look.
So autism is a condition where it describes two general types of traits so one of the traits that a person with autism would have to do with language and social dysfunction or difficulties, and then the other general trait would have to do with things like repetitive behaviors or kind of sensory sensitivities.
But those traits can look very different from person to person.
People forget that it is a spectrum, that there are so many individual differences, that it's not a one-size-fits-all, and that's why it's called a spectrum.
That leads to one of the biggest misconceptions about autism.
One of the misconceptions is that autistic people are not social, but that doesn't mean that they do not value or seek out connection with people.
Doctors say early signs often show up in development, especially communication.
If we start to see abnormal language development in general, difficulty engaging, where they might have eye contact when they're having a conversation or someone's talking to them. So the communication ends up being a very early sign that I think gets picked up fairly quickly by parents and by their pediatricians.
Still, experts say delays alone don't always mean autism.
But just if your child is a little bit delayed doesn't necessarily mean they're on the spectrum. They may just be a little bit delayed. Everyone develops differently. So just because you see those signs doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be on the spectrum or that they are on the spectrum.
But when autism is identified early, intervention can make a difference.
We always want this to be identified as early as possible. The younger children do very, very well with certain types of therapy interventions.
For many, sensory sensitivities are a major part of daily life.
It could be the train going by, it could be the dogs barking in the backyard, or it could be a big monster truck event. Like, it could be such a variety of things that is that person's threshold.
So how people respond in those moments matters.
To remain calm and give space and really just not judge.
That understanding is especially important for those interacting in high-pressure situations.
Maybe making some of the instructions a little bit slowly. If there's an instruction for that person to do something, it may have to be one or two instructions and not something too complex. Maybe a little slow, maybe even having them go a little bit to the side where it might be a little quieter.
At its core, experts say autism isn't something to fix, but something to understand.
I think also understanding that it's not something to be fixed, yes, but understood. And whenever we have that education and we make those accommodations, we create an environment, a world that is better for everybody.
Resources are available through medical providers, early childhood programs, and therapy centers across the area. Experts say awareness, early intervention, and understanding can make a lasting difference for families living with autism.